Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and welcome indeed if you are new here. I'm Andrea.M. and this is Unsolved Down Under, and it's another cold and wintry day in Australia, so I'm thinking we may make these videos True Crime and Coffee Tuesdays. I've got my coffee with my Mr. Louis cup. I've got some cheese crackers, so if you guys would love to run and make yourself a coffee or a tea and grab a snack so that we can have our coffee and our true crime together, that would be great. You can pause the video and come back because today's is a quite involved unsolved case. So let's hop right on in. On Thursday, the 28th of August 1980, 14-year-old Catherine Headland kissed her boyfriend John goodbye and began walking towards the bus stop nearby to her boyfriend's home. It was at the corner of High Street and Manuka Road. It was around 11:10 a.m. and she was planning on catching the 11:20 bus that would take her to her part-time job working at a Coles supermarket. Her shift would begin at 12 noon and she planned to meet back up with her boyfriend John and their other friends later that day after work. However, Catherine Headland never even made it to the bus stop. As she walked down the road to catch the bus, it would be the last time she would ever be seen alive. Her body was found in bushland several months later. What the police didn't know at this point was Catherine was not alone. She wasn't the only one. But before we delve into a rather insidious case for Unsolved Down Under, may I ask you to kindly consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the bell notification so that you never miss a video. Share with your real crime-loving friends and drop a comment or two on what you thought of today's case in the comments section below, but please keep your comments respectful. And as always, repeatedly offend the like button if you enjoy real crime, missing persons, unsolved cases, the paranormal, disasters and odd tidbits of folklore, urban legends, all that good stuff. Then you come to the right channel because that's all that we do here, and we try to upload at least once or twice, maybe even 3 times a week. It's subscribers like you who truly help creators like myself become a success on YouTube. So if you all can help me out by smacking those buttons, I'd be very appreciative. That being said, let's begin. So in the period of May 1980 to October 1981, 6 women and young girls would be reported missing from the Tynong North, Frankston area in Victoria. The killer or killers were thought to be trolling the streets of Tynong North and Frankston and abducting women and girls from various bus stops around the suburbs. At the time Catherine Headland was reported missing, it was unknown to the police the whereabouts of Catherine or of any of the other reported missing women, and at this point there would be even more disappearances. The cases were not linked until the discovery of Catherine's remains by 2 men walking in a forest about 2 kilometres off the Princess Highway along Brew Road. As the police attended the scene, 2 more bodies would be located in close proximity to where Catherine's body lay. It was upon this discovery police began to suspect that they were going from a missing persons case to looking for a serial killer or possibly serial killers. The 2 other sets of remains found in close proximity to Catherine would end up belonging to Bertha Miller, 73, and Anne-Marie Sargent, 18. Both Anne-Marie and Catherine were found without their clothing, but Bertha Miller was fully clothed despite the deterioration of her body. Miller, a regular churchgoer, had disappeared on Sunday, August 10, 1980, on her way to church, and she was heading to a tram stop in Glen Iris. Headland, an immigrant who had moved to Australia from England in 1966, lived in Berwick when she disappeared on Thursday the 28th of August while walking to a bus stop for the 11:20 a.m. bus to her part-time job at Coles in the Fountain Gate shopping complex. Sargent was unemployed and living in Cranbourne when she disappeared on the 6th of October, after travelling from her mother's house to a nearby CES office in Dandenong to claim a benefits check. And if you all aren't familiar with the CES, it was the Commonwealth Employment Service back then in the 1980s. It's what we all commonly know as Centrelink these days. On Thursday, the 3rd of February 1983, more human remains were found in Tynong North in the scrubland by a man who had stopped to repair a tyre, and a search of the area revealed concealed bones from a badly decomposed and stripped body. The bones were of Narramal Stevenson, 34, a Thai mother of two who had married an Australian farmer in Thailand in 1978, arriving in Australia in August of 1979. They lived together in Deans Marsh. On a visit to Melbourne, Narramal disappeared from their car parked in Brunswick around dawn on the 30th of November 1980 following an argument with her husband. Women and girls were not only going missing from Tynong North, they were going missing coincidentally from the nearby suburb of Frankston as well. And I know what a lot of you may be thinking right now, was Paul Denyer, the Frankston serial killer, involved in these? It's a pretty slim chance that he would have been involved with this because he would have been very young at the time, and there is about 13 years between these killings and from when Denyer started his rampage. So he was in his mid-20s when he started his killing spree. So he would have been a preteen or perhaps a teenager when this happened, and he wouldn't have had access to a car or anything back then, so it's unlikely that he would have been involved. So our first known victim disappearing from Frankston was Alison Rook, aged 59. She disappeared on the 30th of May 1980 after experiencing trouble with her car. She had told neighbours she was taking a bus to Frankston Shopping Centre to go grocery shopping and see a realtor. The buses travelled along the Frankston-Dandenong Road, which was where Rook was waiting when she disappeared. On Saturday, 5th of July, 5 weeks later, a man walking his dogs found Rook's naked body in a shallow grave, partially hidden by scrubland, on McClelland Drive in Frankston, and a $50,000 reward was soon posted by the police. On Friday, the 9th of October 1981, Frankston North resident Joy Summers, 55, heading out for her weekly shopping trip, was also waiting for a bus on Frankston-Dandenong Road at around 1:20pm when she also vanished. It was the same stretch of road where Rook had been waiting when she disappeared. Summers' naked corpse was found in scrub by a man collecting firewood near the intersection of McClelland Drive and Sky Road, Frankston, 6 weeks later on Sunday, the 22nd of November. Initially, the two investigations were treated separately, although the cases were later linked based on case and modus operandi similarities. And what they mean by modus operandi is the mode that the killer or the perpetrator takes his steps in perpetrating his crimes. And each modus operandi is unique to each serial killer or perpetrator or criminal, whatever you'd like to call them. There's a few choice things I'd like to call them, but I'd get kicked off YouTube if I said it. So, perpetrator, actor, criminal, whatever you want to call them. So, similarities were also drawn to the recent Truro murders in South Australia. So, I will also be covering the Truro murders in a future video, so please stay tuned for that. According to the police at the time, all of the victims were on foot, with most of them planning to use public transport at the time they disappeared. A few may even have tried to hitchhike. Given the lack of eyewitnesses to anything suspicious, authorities assumed that the victims probably knew or trusted their abductor. Causes of death could not be identified as most of the bodies were stripped of possessions. Around 2,000 interviews were held regarding the case, and later investigations speculated the possibility of 2 or 3 separate possible offenders. The prime suspect in the case, Harold Janman, who offered women lifts on the Frankston-Dandenong Road. Janman told police he offered women lifts on the Frankston-Dandenong Road, where Rook and Summers disappeared in 1980 and 81, because he was just a friendly guy and just wanted to help people. When he drove with the police along the road, Janman pointed to 9 bus stops where he offered women lifts. 2 of the stops were where Rook and Summers were waiting when they disappeared. Janman lived at Garfield near the Tynong North murder ground for many years. Janman had repeatedly declared his innocence to the police and to the media. He told a current affair in 2018 that he had never hated a person or disliked them enough to wish them dead or to take their life. There has never been any hard evidence linking him to any of the murders. He continued to maintain his innocence. Janman died at age 88 in August 2020. No one has been charged regarding the murders, which remain unsolved. In October 2017, the police announced 6 separate $1 million rewards, up from the original $50,000 offered for any information that resulted in any arrest in any of the cases. So that is $1 million per case. Information may be given to the police via Crime Stoppers on 1-800-333-000, and you may remain anonymous if you so wish. The victims of these heinous crimes and their families deserve to have justice served to the monsters that took their lives. Now, I just want to recap on a few of the details about the murdered and missing women. So please bear with me if I'm repeating, but I really just want to focus on the victims at the end of this video because they are the reason that we are here. Alison Rook. Alison Rook was a 60-year-old widow who lived in a red brick flat on Hannah Street, Frankston North. On Friday the 30th of May 1980, Alison was experiencing car trouble, so she ditched the car and decided to catch a bus along the Frankston-Dandenong Road instead. Alison had to go grocery shopping and visit the real estate agent to pay a bill. About 11 a.m. she was seen by neighbours leaving her flat, walking towards the bus stop on Frankston-Dandenong Road. Alison never placed her grocery order and didn't make it to the real estate agent. The bus driver working the route that day could not recall picking Alison up. On Saturday, the 5th of July 1980, 5 weeks later, a man walking his dogs found Alison's body partially hidden by scrubland on McClellan Drive in Frankston. Joy Carmel Summers. Joy Summers was a 55-year-old widow who lived only 1 kilometre away from Alison Rook's flat, although they didn't know each other. Joy lived on Norfolk Crescent, Frankston North. Every Friday she went shopping with her friend William Cotter. But on Friday the 9th of October 1981, William had a few medical appointments booked, so he couldn't go shopping with Joy. Joy didn't like to go shopping alone, but she decided to catch a bus from Frankston-Dandenong Road into Frankston to buy some meat on her own anyway. She was seen by neighbours outside her home at 1 p.m. heading towards the bus stop, which was only 100 metres away at the intersection of Chilly Street and Frankston-Dandenong Road. Can you imagine? She was only 100 metres away from her home when this happened. Joy was last seen at the bus stop at 1:20 p.m. The bus driver also couldn't recall picking her up, as she never placed her order at the butcher's. 6 weeks later, on Sunday, the 22nd of November 1981, at about 11 a.m, a man collecting firewood would find Joy's naked body hidden in thick scrub in the bushland near the intersection of Sky Road and McClellan Drive, Frankston North. She was only about 3 kilometres away from where Alison Rook's body was located. Like Alison's body, Joy was covered, but she was not buried. Bertha Miller. Bertha Miller was 75 years old, living with her brother-in-law, William Ross, on Cardinia Street, Glen Iris. At 10:15 a.m. on Sunday, the 10th of August 1980, Bertha called out to her brother-in-law, William, who was in the shower. She told him she was off to church and she would be home late and not to wait to have lunch with her. In order to get to the church, Bertha caught the tram from High Street, Glen Iris. Her good friend Jessie Moore lived nearby in Burke Road. For the previous 10 years, Bertha and Jessie caught the same tram to church every Sunday, the 10:47 a.m. along High Street. Bertha boarded at the terminus and Jessie joined her shortly after at the Burke Street road stop. When Jessie got on the tram that day, Bertha was nowhere to be found. Bertha was last seen by a shopkeeper making the 400-metre walk to the tram stop. Her body was found together with the body of Anne-Marie Sargent on Saturday the 6th of December, and this was in 1980, as we said before, by a local garage owner and his friend, 2 kilometres north of the Princess Highway at Tynong North along Brew Road. Catherine's body was found just 15 metres away on the next day. Catherine Headland. Catherine Headland was only 14 years old. She had moved to Australia from England with her family in 1966 when she was just 1 year old. She lived with her mother and older brother in Allen Street, Berwick. Catherine worked part-time on weekends at the Coles supermarket in the local Fountain Gate shopping centre. Thursday, the 28th of August 1980, during the school holiday, was to be Catherine's first midweek shift. She didn't start work until 12 midday, but she left home at 9:30 a.m. to visit her boyfriend John McManus. John lived on High Street, Berwick, about a 1-mile walk. John had a number of other friends visiting, and they watched TV and listened to records. At 11:10 a.m, Catherine left John's house and walked to the bus stop at the corner of Manuka Road and High Street, where she planned, as we said before, to catch the 11:20 a.m. bus. Catherine never made it. She was never seen again. Her body was found on Sunday the 7th of December 1980 in the same area as the bodies of Bertha Miller and Anne-Marie Sargent, 2 kilometres north of the Princess Highway at Tynong North along Brew Road. Anne-Marie Sargent. Anne-Marie Sargent was 18 years old. She lived with her family and friends on Railway Road in the outer southeastern suburb of Melbourne called Cranbourne. Anne-Marie was unemployed and was struggling to find a career. On the 6th of October 1980, Anne-Marie visited her mother on Cranbourne Drive. When she left, she said she was heading to the nearby suburb of Dandenong to the Commonwealth Employment Service Office, or CES, to collect an unemployment check. She told her mother that she would be returning later in the day to collect some clothing. Anne-Marie made it to the CES office as she lodged her form, but after she left the office, she was never seen alive again. Her body was found together with the body of Bertha Miller on Saturday, the 6th of December 1980, as we said before, by the garage owner and his friend, 2 kilometres off the Princess Highway and Tynong North along Brew Road. Very close, of course, to where they would later find Catherine. Narramal Stevenson. Narramal Stevenson was 34 years old. She was born in Thailand. She married a Victorian dairy farmer named Wayne Stevenson in Thailand in 1978 before moving to Australia in August of 1979. Wayne and Narramal lived on a farm in Deans Marsh, 134 kilometres southwest of Melbourne. On the 28th of November 1980, they visited Melbourne with another couple to see a concert. The next day, on the 29th of November, they all visited another friend in Park Street, Brunswick, around 18 kilometres away in the inner north of Melbourne. When they got there, Narramal was upset and refused to get out of the car and go into the flat. Wayne Stevenson and the other couple went into the flat where they drank wine and coffee. Wayne came down at least 3 times to check on Narramal. The second time he found her walking down the street. The third time he found her talking Thai to a man in a car, and the man had a European accent. After this third check, Wayne sat with his wife in their car until it was nearly dawn. Then he walked upstairs and fell asleep. Narramal remained in the car, still refusing to enter the flat. Shortly after 6 a.m, Wayne Stevenson walked back downstairs to see where his wife was, but she wasn't there. The car was still there, but Narramal was missing. Her body was found on Thursday, the 3rd of February 1983, by a teacher and former AFL footballer Barry Davis near the bush track along the Princess Highway in Tynong North. And that is where this case runs cold. But someone somewhere knows something. I'm hoping I'll be able to update you guys on this case in the future as police are still investigating. And I would love to know your thoughts and theories in the comments section below. As always, keep it respectful so we can keep YouTube a nice place for everybody. And as always, thank you guys so much for your support and for watching again. Please stay safe, everybody. Sending you all much love, and I will see you all soon in my next video. Bye.